Hello and welcome back to this series of LiveScaler tutorials. In this video, I'm going to cover all the features that are in LiveScaler Instrument, which is the device here. And let's start directly with the simplest ones, which are the one on the lower part. What they allow to do is, if I have, for instance, this C major chord, there are pretty long MIDI notes. Let me play it. The thing is, sometimes the MIDI notes are pretty long, and when you are applying the transformation, maybe some notes are going on. And you need to tinker the parameters here in order to have the behavior that you want when the MIDI notes are on and you want to apply the transformation. So for instance, here, this is the legato parameter, and the legato parameter, what the legato parameter does is that it will retrigger all the notes here, but in the transformed version. So even if the notes are not retriggered, LiveScaler will retrigger them for you. So as you can see, I've just applied some random transformations, and you can hear the legato that is kicking in. And the reason why is that basically it retriggers all these notes, and the synth has this glide and legato parameter that you can see on the lower part of the screen. If you don't want the legato to trigger, then you just have to add a small delay between the moment you apply the transformation and the moment the note will be retriggered. For instance, here I've put it to 17 milliseconds, and let's hear. As you can hear, there is now no glissando, no legato on the transformed version. And if I had to put like the delay too low, the legato will kick again, because it's about how close the MIDI notes are for the legato to trigger or not. So you just have to tinker properly the delay parameter in order to not get the legato if you don't want it. So the two other parameters here are wait and stop. And what those do is that, for instance, wait is going to wait until the current MIDI notes that are playing are over to apply the transformation. So for instance, here, if I play the C major chord, let me put back the main transformation. Here I just trigger the transformation, but as you can hear, it has applied it only when the next transformation, when the next MIDI note come. And the last parameter is stop, and stop does exactly the same as wait, but instead of letting the MIDI note continue, it just stops them, and the transformation will apply to the next notes. So here I just applied another transformation, and it applies only when the next chord arrives. So that was it for the lower part. Now let me cover the folding intervals, which is the upper part of the LiveScaler Instrument device. I'm going to use this other example, which is a C major chord, then I do it note by note, and then a C major scale. So let me play this. Okay, sorry, I just apply the main transformation during playing. So these folding intervals are really important in LiveScaler, and the reason why is the way LiveScaler works. LiveScaler doesn't need to get any learning from the scale, but the downside of that is that, for instance, if you want to apply a minor transformation, this is how it works. Basically, it multiplies the MIDI pitch by -1. And the result is, if you see on this figure, the notes are being sent to if the higher the note is and the lower the result will be. And the result is, if the note is really high, the note will be so low that you can't even hear it. And this is why we need a folding interval in order to avoid the notes to go completely out of range and to be too high or too low. There are two types of folding intervals. The first one is relative and the second one is absolute. You will see it is kind of the main downside of LiveScaler. For instance, if I play this and I apply a minor transformation, so this is indeed in the A minor scale. Like if I replay it with the MIDI monitors on, you can see that it is indeed the A minor scale, but there are some octave jumps. And so it's a bit weird to have these octave jumps. And also it's weird that we just had a C major scale that was going up, and now it's a A minor scale that is, first of all, it's going down, and second of all, there are some octave jumps. So you will have octave jumps with LiveScaler. This is one of the major downside of it. But you can try to get them where you want, and also you can tinker with these parameters to avoid them at moments that you absolutely don't want these octave jumps. So this is a relative interval folds. What it does is that if you have a note, for instance, if you have, let's say, C4, and it says from -5 to 6, what it does is that it will force the C4 note to stay within -5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is G3, and +6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is F#4. So every transform version of C must be within that interval. Okay? And so the reason it's called relative is that the interval is relative to the note that is currently being played. So for instance, if it was E, you just have to do the same. It's -5 to +6. And what's good about the relative interval is that, for instance, if you're playing a major chord or the main transformation, for instance, the C1, you won't have any problem of octave jumps. However, it doesn't behave really well, as you just saw, in terms of octave jumps for the minor transformation. So this is why there is also the absolute folding interval. And what this does is, for instance, let's say, let me put it back to C. Okay. Let's say C2 to C3. What this does is that it will force every transform note to stay within a certain interval, and it's not relative to the note being played. It's just relative to, it's just absolute. Every note must be within C2 and C3, and you can hear if I play it now. So that was just all the notes going back to this folding interval. And if I put the minor transformation now, you can hear that in general, with the absolute interval feature, you will have less octave jumps. But you have to be careful because, for instance, if you have a bass, and the bass is, I mean, it's supposed to be in a low range, and you put like this absolute interval, well, it won't be a bass anymore. So you have to tinker this in order to get the proper pitch height that you want, and also to avoid as much octave jumps that you need. So I hope this video was useful to you, and I will see you in the next video.